Our second faculty speaker, I asked to stand a little while ago. He and Don will be leaving us this year. And I told them that they better practice their snow scooping this year, and it was a good year for that because they're going to Montana. So, RandyCarspecken has been an outstanding math teacher for us. Has taught higher level math, which those of you who know anything about AP, Advanced Placement Calculus, is kind of like AP Calculus AB, the first course, AP Calculus BC, and further topics. And about 17 of this class, I think, took that class, almost 20%. When we describe it to people who don't know much about IB, we tell them that it's one of the most difficult classes in the IB. It's kind of nasty, but fascinating. And so Randy also was on a worldwide committee, I think 4 colleagues, who developed the IB online course for higher level math and just finished it last year. I'm not sure he's willing to take that on again, but he did a great service for the IB and for students around the world who can now take IB higher level math if their school doesn't offer it. So our students have thrived on Randy's expertise, his caring, his commitment to them. Randy Carspecken.
Thank you, class of 2014, for this moment. Parents and family for the class of 2014. Mr. Heiser, the board of directors, faculty and staff for the Sturgis school we know today. First, since I have taken 1 or 2 ideas from a yet unpublished great American novel, written by an author I have personally known for 60 years, I've given my speech the same title. My speech is called The Medicine Line. And second, I want to apologize at the very start for my last lines, which will keep all of you awake tonight, staring at the stars, wondering. I am sorry for my final lines and the mystery of this beautiful universe that will seize your imagination until daylight. By the way, sunrise is at 5:09 tomorrow morning. I begin with a true story that has fascinated me for decades. Since you all know the Atlantic running east from Cape Cod, you can picture the Great Plains of the American West, a sea of grass stretching into the distance, meeting the sky in that limit we call the horizon. Imagine the Blackfeet Indians, galloping horses, the U.S. cavalry in close pursuit, the buffalo, elk, grizzly bears scattering as they flee north. Suddenly, in this ocean of bluestem and wheatgrass, the soldiers behind them stop. As if hitting an invisible wall in the empty prairie, horses planting feet in a spray of dirt, they slide to a standstill and just sit and look, held behind some hidden barrier. The Blackfeet are perplexed. They study the vacant tableland, but they find no clues in the empty distance. Over time, they discover this happens again and again, each time in the middle of that open grassland, each time along that same line that runs with the sun east to west, each time the soldiers yielding to this mysterious edge. Whatever this presence or spirit or unseen object might be, the Blackfeet quickly learned to respect it. They knew it would save them. It defined those moments of their lives as they ran their horses towards this great force on the horizon. Today, all of you are about to cross the border. We'll know in our school's maritime tradition, when the last of you rings the ship's bell, that you have all passed this line that has stood in the distance 1, 2, 3, 4 years of your lives. Every one of you has thought about getting to the other side, at times yearned to finally escape the demands of the IB, escape your teachers chasing you across an ocean of work, escape a vast prairie of words and equations. The Native Americans had a name for this power. They abided on the skyline, and today they still use the same words. It is called the medicine line. They knew they had crossed over when their pursuers slowed and fell behind and reined in their horses and milled about like undecided currents in a slack tide. Today, your knowledge of this line we call AIB has brought you to an edge with a world-class education. But in crossing this with diploma in hand, you may feel something curious on the other side, like that slack tide lingering between two states. As it turns out, all of us are in this together. Your teachers know this in your empty desks. Your families know this as you turn to your own horizons. In 60 years of chasing my own dreams, I have learned some things about both sides of these powerful borders. Here are 3. Number 1, great happiness can come from pushing your limits. Bringing yourself to the task is often the hardest part, but I know this: if you simply show up at that edge again and again, miracles will happen. Number 2, some of the very best edges are found in this glorious world surrounding us. Day and night, winter, summer, water, ice, shoreline, summit. You cannot go wrong shaping your life around this greatest of all possessions. And number 3, challenge existing borders. But challenge them quietly and slowly and from inside. My first university degree with highest honors, no less, was a writing degree. You might wonder about that after the speech. But I began to feel my forceful criticisms were not so honorable. It is easy to be an outside critic, and so I made a decision to take one of the biggest risks of my life, stepping way out of my comfort zone and into one of those very institutions I had been so critical of, public education. I'm so happy I did. Finding an infinite need, and I would never have guessed an infinite outlet for creativity. And of course, my wife and I both found you guys. Over 30 years of teaching, we've had 5,000 kids, and we both have grown proud whenever we are filling out forms to write teacher. Okay, now for the final lines I warned you about. No sleep for any of you tonight. Tighten your seatbelts, here we go. When you're on your way, drawn by the power of another horizon, and you've learned to look for and trust those faint guiding outlines in the margins of your life, those margins, by the way, where you will likely find your greatest inspirations, the margins, by the way, more than the horizon defining them, you may come to see that one of the most powerful borders, perhaps the very greatest edge of them all,